Yo, we got Dids and we got Fat Jesus. What's up, y'all?
What's up, everybody? This is Fat Jesus Live.
That's got loads of energy. I should. Hi, I'm Dr. Dibs. Hi.
Yeah, we was talking a lot before we even started, which was really good because of the simple fact that the title today on my side is basically history, AI, and naysayers. Well, Dr. Dids is expert in AI. Um,
Only in film.
Wow, we got an expert today.
Just say like the filmmaking side because I'm not a coder, so I can't go down that route at all. So it's just visuals, yeah, really. But
This
thank
is
you for
this is
the
quite emotional for me, though, to have someone that is an expert in the emotional part of the AI business, and not. We don't really need a coder as per se, because coders are like beep 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 beep. I'm a coder. Hello, I code for AI. Hello, my name is, and they don't have dates, and their girlfriends are like this too, and they probably have blow up dolls. I don't know, but they're just, not really the type of people I want to hang out with. But you
oh wow.
definitely I want to hang out with. So
Oh,
you
I'm,
are a
I'm
fresh
getting
of breath air. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh no, thanks for asking. This is going to be a very interesting conversation. So far away. Yeah, yeah, bright, breezy colours, trying to get people's attention. So okay,
hey,
yeah.
that's why The Simpsons is very popular today, and what started off being popular because the reason why they're yellow was because when people, from what rumor says, is when people would flip through the channel, they would see the yellow and they would automatically associate that with the show.
That's
So
interesting you say that because my name is Margaret and I did have blue hair during lockdown, and I have a friend in Texas who calls me Marge. So the Marge Simpson with blue hair was quite appropriate, actually, to be fair. So there's a lot of different stuff on there. A lot of it's music. I'm experimenting with short films, and I've just been experimenting with visual storytelling and filmmaking for AI. Um, Reason being is I started in theatre, so I was a sound and lighting engineer, and then I did show management and production management, and I've always done background TV extra work. So since 1988, I'm old. So that's actually that's an AI. So basically, that's a photo of me that I've put in and made some different changes. So let's go back. So the way I have to work is because I worked in theatre and TV, and I come from a storytelling kind of angle. So there's always something kind of arty and farty going on with stuff. And I was a sound engineer, so I did a metaphysical master's, which was focusing on sound for healing and stuff, right? So I've got and light. So sound and light. I was obsessed with sound and light for a very long time, and music. I just listen to music. I'm one of these boring people that just like literally has headphones on and listens to music and makes loads of electronic music. And I've been doing that for years.
Now,
And I work
now,
with a
now,
reggae band.
this is you, right? This is not an AI version of you, right?
No, this is an AI version of me. So basically, what I do is I get my characters. So I've got about 20 odd characters. So I start with a photograph or a general idea of what kind of character I want. So for this, because with AI filmmaking, there's and I act, so there's a lot of basically people in the industry that don't want their personalities or characterization of their own features stealing. So in order to get around the copyright, I take photos of myself, and then I will alter those photos, and then they will be some kind of different character from my own personality. So that's how I kind of work. Is I
Very
make
interesting.
character. If it's female character, I'll use a base image of me and then just mess around with it until I get a character that I like. So therefore, I'm covered on the copyright issue. When it comes to males, though, it was literally I made up this character, and every other character is made from his base character. So that's how I get around the copyright of not stealing other people's images and other people's faces. So I love cello music. So with Suno, which is one of my favorite applications because it's music.
yeah, that's a good app.
music. And I say I worked with a rapper years ago, and I worked with a reggae band years ago. And like I played the saxophone when I was allowed to. My neighbours complained, but that's another story. And sound engineering. So I've worked with loads of musicians. So there's certain different genres that I keep experimenting with. And this was just basically, I like cello music. I wanted some images. I did a character sheet. This one's called Elowen. She's got a backstory. So all my characters have got backstories. So they're all going to go in little films. So basically I can use all of my AI characters in my little films, my music videos. So this was just a bit of an experiment with Grok to see what we could come up with, whether we could get, a realistic kind of image going on. And bear in mind, Grok that I'm using, this is only 480p, so the quality is not great, but it's fine for social media. But these were really quick prompts as well. So that was just a basic prompt of she's stood in a lighthouse playing cello and the wind is, ripping around them. Really, when it comes to...
I like it. I love it.
You do? I mean,
yeah,
I'm a bit big-headed. I like my own music.
I started doing that too, like taking the music and or getting that. I got Suno to take what I know and put it into music form because sometimes it's interesting to some people. I mean, it's not always perfect, you want it to be, of course.
There is, sorry to interrupt, there's a structure. So you have to stick with the structure, right? Yeah. So as long as you stick with the structure, then you can make any song, any subject sound perfect. So history lessons within music are perfect, which is what I've been doing at the moment with the Jamaican Ethiopian connection together through the I don't know if you know, but the Ethiopian Bible has got like 81 canons in it, so it's a large biblical canon that we have in the world, and one of the oldest, not the eldest, but one of the eldest. So within that's where Enoch comes from, and Jubilees, etc. So for example, I've got a story about it's the Book of Enoch, which is literally turned into a dubstep deep reggae track. But it depends on the structure. So as long as you get the structure correct, and the structure, if you're writing songs, you need to start with you need an intro. So that can be spoken word or that can be instrumental, but you need to structure your intro, verse 1, pre-chorus, chorus, verse 2, chorus, bridge, final chorus, and then your outro. And if you stick with the structure, then you'll make something
very good,
I think decent, But if you just put a load of just words in there without putting it in the structure, then it's might not sound the way that you want it to.
Yeah, I'm learning that now because I got it. I've been practicing with it. I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. It does. A lot of people think that AI just is just simply, you can tell it to do something and it brings something out. And that to me, that's crazy because there are people who have a great imagination but cannot draw. So they tell somebody what they see or what they imagine, and then somebody draws it until they get it right. And then they make a whatever kind of art out of it. This is no different than AI. Like you have to prompt it to do certain things. Like some of the, like I made a music video from the Sumerians on it. I thought it was just pretty cool. It was like,
I listened to that
one. I was just like, and I had them people dancing and everything. And I was like, man, it's so easy because like all you have to do is just have multiple pictures or screenshots of whatever it is you want. And you tell it to do certain things. You prompt it to do certain things. You can have it like hair, like the hair blowing a certain way, certain type of clothes, what they're doing. You prompt it to do certain things, and it would get as close as possible to it, and you put it in there. And this is what I started noticing when I started making these videos. I noticed that when I go back and watch these television shows that I watch, most scenes don't last no more than 6 to 8 seconds.
Yeah, that's why you get 6 to 8 seconds worth of
exactly. So when I was and I seen it, and I was like, and I started counting in between each scene. So I'm just like, if this AI gets to the point where is damn near. I mean, and not even for nothing. Cartoons is cartoons looking anyway, so AI can replace that cartoon type format thing anyway. You can make you a whole type of movie from it. Most people don't sit down and watch television anyway, like you were saying earlier, Dr. Dids, about you know, for social media. Most people don't sit down and watch television anymore like they used
No.
to. Most people are on their phones, their tablets, MacBooks, laptops, you know, computers. They're not on, you know, 60, 70-inch TVs anymore. A lot of people, you know, project that like, oh, I got a 60, 70, 80, 100, you know, inch TV, but you're looking at your 8-inch phone right now, sitting in
Yeah.
front of that 78-inch TV.
It's interesting you brought that up, because I find, like, I love Grok, but I'm only on a basic plan which is 420p. For me, that's not good enough quality, because what I'm doing as well is, for example, the short films that I've got, they need to be 4K because exactly that, because they go on to Rad TV. And also bear in mind, you know, YouTube is also on TV screens. Then there are people with big screens watching, because a lot of gamers will have big monitors and screens. But also because my background is like TV film, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I haven't done anything for ages, really, not massive industry scale, but I've been making my own shorts, and to show that to an audience, you open on a cinema screen. So you still, so for me, I do agree with you, because I think in 20 years time, cinemas probably won't exist, because everybody will just watch stuff on their phones. Why are you going to need anything bigger? I mean, you can get a phone with a projector, and on a white wall, just project straight onto a flat white wall. So, you know, like, are cinemas going to exist in 20 years time? Probably not. But everybody, and so in respect to the 480p, which is what I'm using for Grok, it's okay for social media and stuff and on your phone. But like I say, if you do, looking at what you're saying, you know, you're coming from the opposite side of it. There is still a use for 4K, 8K, you know, 6K, which is kind of where cameras are at the minute, 6K and 8K. But for filmmaking, so for example, oh gosh, what's his name? Oh shoot, I'm gonna okay. So one of the actors, Hollywood actor, can't remember his name at the minute. Damn, I've got his face in my head as well. He started an AI studio, and literally, you know, so instead of using full film crews,
what movies was he in? Maybe we could help you remember.
Oh my god, I can see his face so well. It's like he does stuff with Matt Damon a lot. The other one, this skinny, taller one.
Oh my gosh! Now I have it on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah. Anyway,
he was in Dogma.
Yes. Like, I can't. Oh my god, what's his name? He literally.
Now you have me looking it up. Hold on.
He literally started an AI studio, and like, is brilliant, because it is right. I mean, I think he might be using Runway or something.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, that's it. Ben Affleck. There's so many different, like this, for example, was made in LTX Studio, and this was quite a while ago now. So obviously, you know, everything's got so much better since a year ago. It's 2 years ago. It's amazing what you can do now. I mean, there was the Will Smith eating spaghetti test, you know, so they looked at Will Smith eating spaghetti 2 years ago in AI, and then what it looks like now, and now it's like almost indistinguishable from the real thing. And I appreciate the fact that you actually sit and you've listened to some of my stuff, because it's not for everybody, you know, especially the music that I make. It's not for everybody, but I don't really care. I'm doing it for me more than anything.
Yeah,
but
you know, that's what I love the most, is that you can tell who's genuine about what they love to do, because they're doing it for themselves. Then you can tell the people who are doing it just for money and fame, because they chase everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's no glamour in being famous, and there's no, you know, you're not necessarily rich because you're famous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're, you know, I mean, for example, Kanye West has just been banned from coming to the UK. He was going to be headlining a concert, and Keir Starmer's banned him. So, you know, it doesn't matter how famous or how rich you are, you can still have problems as well. You know, being banned from coming into a country to do a headlining gig is kind of probably not what you want, you know. So yeah, but I've got loads of stories, and I've got loads of short stories, and I've got loads of film scripts. And I think I may have mentioned this before, the industry itself is really difficult, and if you've been out of it for a long time, which I have in a sense, then it's
What
difficult.
artist hasn't been? You know, artists take time off of like the world whenever they're busy
Yeah,
making art, and
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
see them for months and
yeah,
probably a year, and then when they come out, there's an art gallery. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I
yeah.
worked with an artist. And I'm like, when are you gonna come out with your stuff? I'm still painting. You know,
Yeah. I'm like that. I've got hundreds of paintings upstairs. I've literally only shown them once.
it's normal. It's normal,
So I've got
and
like
it's always perfection,
nobody, I'll do
perfection,
anybody.
perfection.
Say again, sorry.
It's always perfection. There is never perfect. It's never. And when they come out, it's always, oh my gosh, is this right? Is this right? Oh my gosh, this is not right. This is,
Oh
oh my
yeah,
God, this is not going to be perfect. I don't know what they're going to say. You know, it's like, calm down, just enjoy,
yeah.
sit back.
I mean, one of the things I do admit is like actors and artists are probably like, I mean, I'm not going to say the hardest people on themselves, because I'm sure there are other, but really hard on themselves. Like you say, nothing is ever perfect, nothing is ever good enough. It don't matter how many, but you've got to get to a certain point where you stop and you go, well, that's it. That's what I can achieve now. I've got to move on, because otherwise I just never will move
You'll
on
go
from.
bonkers.
Yeah, completely. So yeah, so this was LTX Studio, but like there's so many different, you know, I started using Hallyo for visual images, and that was free when I started using it, and then it got to be a paid tier because more people found out about it,
Yeah.
and then it gets pushed to, like, now I could probably only like prompt five 8-second videos with a tenner a month, whereas
Now
before,
that's how it is. It's I feel okay. Let's talk about this. I feel like there's no patronage. Like, let's say, for instance, you support a website or you support the owner, and you know the owner, and this owner created this AI website and hasn't charged you anything. You help build the website by supplying the information, your time and effort, and then all of a sudden he starts charging,
yeah,
and shouldn't be charging you or shouldn't be charging me. I should be getting it free for life.
yeah, because you're one of
But
the first people to. I did this with BSV as well, with a lot of the apps there as well, and it's like
yeah,
what you've just done with giving me that AI thing there. You're actually testing the application,
it's like I wasn't worth
or not,
anything, you
but
know.
I mean, I was gutted when Hallyo started charging. It's like, no way, and it was all right for a bit, but it's just got like, I move around, so I got onto Open Art because I can create.
I feel the same way with Twitter. I tested Twitter's
Yeah,
first
completely.
time
I'm really
streaming.
frustrated.
I was the first streamer to
We
stream
really?
on Twitter. Yeah,
Wow.
I streamed Destiny 2 on X. So
What?
I was the first streamer to stream a video game on like for
Wow.
10 hours straight,
Oh wow, that's
and nobody else was streaming video games, you know.
yeah.
And then Elon Musk decided to stream his video game because he has a lot more followers, of course. Like
Maybe I should
4 days
stream
later.
music or something. Or just like go live and just put a live stream up. I don't think anybody interacts with me. That's like the
Yeah,
thing I did.
nobody interacts with me either. They watch it when they're on the train or they're doing something or they're at work, they're bored to death and they'll look at my video. They either hit a like or sometimes they'll follow, they'll probably won't, you know. So now I tell people don't follow me. And then they follow me. Reverse psychology, I think.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I must admit though, I was frustrated with Grok because you could do 720, but you can't now for the same price as what I'm paying. So I do find it frustrating when things like that happen. Yeah,
I
you're
feel
looking at my books. I wrote some kids' books for my niece, really, but they are
I feel
available.
like if I charge people, people will start to follow me. if I give it for free, people are gonna think I'm cheap, so they don't follow me.
Yeah, I got to a point where I'm sorry, I can't do anything else for free. It's like I need to pay rent, I need to pay bills. Yeah, so this is my website, which I actually did again with the help of Grok, because like I coded the original one. I used to do HTML years and years ago, but I hate coding. So I just have a basic kind of template and
It's a lot more complicated now.
Yeah, well, I just asked Grok to help me, like, just make my website look a bit better. So it's more of a portfolio showcase of what I can do. Really, it doesn't help for acting work because, that's a separate thing where they just want to see you performing something in front of a camera. And I like making things. I love acting, but so Rad TV. So Rad TV is a bit like YouTube, but mainly, I mean, they're on PlayStation and Xbox and other distribution platforms, but they have a lot of AI content on there. So they're doing a showcase. So if you're an AI creator, you can submit your stuff to like a showcase every month. So there's like film showcases or music showcase or random just watch hours. But the thing that's different about them is they have a stage in Decentraland. So Decentraland, which if you're a gamer, you should have heard of Decentraland, but it's built on the Ethereum blockchain. So it's a virtual world. So they have a screen in this virtual world and they have like parties and film nights and stuff, and as a creator I can get paid if people watch per minute, or if they show one of my videos on the actual event day on their screen inside Decentraland, which is a cool little thing. So you have an avatar that can wander around this massive world, and then every now and again they'll have a big music festival every year as well, so that's cool. So that's Dr. Did's TV on Rad TV. So
hey, you got a lot of stuff on there, and you say you got books too. There's your books, like you got
books as kids' books, though mainly. I mean, I've got loads of like recently I had 2 stories published in a book, which was it's called The Caves Will Remember, which is new stories about old Nottingham. So that's where I live. I live in Nottingham, which most people around the world I associate with Robin Hood.
That's amazing.
So yeah, so there's a lot of history here. Nottingham itself was a lagoon originally, so there's over 800 sandstone caves in Nottingham, and we have one of the oldest pubs in the country because that was built into the sandstone caves, and they're highwaymen, and we used to have the lace industry, and we've got some massive big stately homes, and then there's Lord Byron and D.H. Lawrence and other people, like actors, Shane Meadows, who is a film director, as well. So, and it's quite a big creative quarter. So I've just had 2 stories published. I'm helping with a book at the moment about Lord Byron, and then my books are basically kids' books and a poetry book. So yeah. Hey.
I mean, I am impressed by your resume. So this is my website right here, and if you go through it, you flip through it.
Nice.
And then it goes through down to the bottom as well.
Oh, I like it. Look at this.
I know, and so you got it has a couple of layers, and it goes through it. There's me, so. There's a couple of these pictures, the AI pictures that were taken, a few things here and there throughout the time, Halloween and all that stuff. Be a little bit personable with people. And then you get to the bottom, phone numbers and stuff like that. If you go all the way to the top, you got just the regular stuff, the Discord, the live streaming. I haven't set up the blog yet because I haven't gotten the numbers yet
what are you building the website with?
Well, I am an entertainer. So before all this podcasting, I was a video game streamer.
Sweet. So you had to Twitch.
Twitch.
Yeah.
We used to have a platform called Twitch.
Are you calling me a twat? Oh my God.
platform called Twitch. It was on the BSV blockchain. It was a bit like X, but it was with BSV. Yeah. So no, but Twitch. Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
So I'm on every platform. When I first started Fat Jesus Live, I added my name to every platform, even in China and in Russia,
Uh huh.
everywhere.
Uh huh.
So I'm an international streamer.
That's
So if you
interesting.
type in my name,
China, because I am on Baidu because I lived in Beijing for 6 months, but also I made music, and the
oh,
lady, my flatmate, she started a radio show, so she played a load of my music. So
you have to,
yeah,
because if not, somebody will take your music.
yeah. That's cool.
And
What games are you into then?
I
You said
mean, I,
Doom.
I I play a lot of different games, high paced games, very high energy type of games. I'm an older gentleman. I'm in my 50s, but I usually say I break every kid's wrists out there. You know, they try and play against me, and they end up breaking their own screens because they can't beat me. So I'm just I'm just really good at it. I've been doing it for a very long time, but I've been switching out my streams to podcasting and hiking. So I do
I
some
love
hiking.
hiking. I
Yeah.
love walking. That's where you were going the other day, where you went to that really nice. Was it a river? No, lake,
Is it?
Tyrone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah,
I
so that was a baptismal trail. So that was during the days of slavery, where slaves would go to get baptize themselves,
I
and it's that's remember when I was telling you before we even went live that I have an app. It's called Explore Here, and
yeah.
it's every historical marker in the United States of America. And so, like when I go driving, you turn on the app, and when you come up to a historical marker, it'll tell you all about it. You can visit it and stuff. So I found that on there, and I just
There must
I
be
went up there
millions.
watching. It was pretty cool because look, I love history a lot, and
He
it,
does.
it was never nurtured when I was a little kid, so I never did something of interest in it. It wasn't until I got retired, when I retired from the military, I got to chase my dreams, do what I wanted to do, and be passionate about how I am. I take this very serious because you know I would hate to go down the rabbit holes some of these people go down. Like
Yeah, yeah,
there is unnecessary rabbit holes out there that people are going through, and it's because somebody's greedy or wants to be a lot of times, sometimes it doesn't have to do with monetary gain. A lot of time it just has to do with just having the fame of some sort.
Or
And
manipulative.
yeah,
yeah.
and
Power, isn't it? That's the
yeah,
addiction. Thing.
and
Control
I,
control of the narrative. That's
yeah,
pretty much what it
exactly,
is.
control of the narrative. And I feel like it's you know I've read a lot of books in my life. I mean, my resume is my social media. That's kind of scary to say because of the simple fact that no, I don't have a college degree in any of this stuff. No, I didn't go to school for any of these fields that I'm talking about, that I talk about. But what I do is I read a lot, and I
Yeah,
read a lot of books, and um, all my social media, my YouTube shows that I only share what I've read because I have a playlist on my YouTube channel what I've learned from reading this book, and
yeah.
I literally have tabs. Matter of fact, I just bought 1,500 more tabs of these for books because I need them for putting them in my book. Like I just bought
We're gonna
some.
we're gonna be calling you Tabs.
I'm telling you, I just
And
bought these like a few
that's
days
gonna be
ago.
your new nickname.
Do you know what though? It's a really good addiction to just want to read. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I mean that's a really healthy addiction, just to sort of like want to tab the chapters in the books that you're reading for reference points, like just words and knowledge. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? I finished like school when I was 15, and I went straight into working in the theatre. I was the first girl in the country to do sound and lighting, so it was really hard in that respect. So I didn't go to uni until like later. So I did my master's and my doctorate during lockdown, you know. So it
That's
wasn't
what
till
I'm
later.
doing right now is my doctorate.
What are you doing your doctorate in? Is that in anthropology?
Anthropology.
Cool. And how's it
Yeah.
going?
It's tough. Nobody wants to nobody wants to take in somebody that's not working. Here in America, universities, they want you to already be working in the field, and I don't work in the field. I'm a
Right.
disabled
Okay.
veteran.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a kind of brick wall that I faced with the divinity. I walked into a church and it's like, okay, and I volunteer there now doing the live streaming for them on services, and I'm serving, and they've got amazing library with really old books, which I think I sent you a photo of. And the other thing about Nottingham is I don't want to change the subject because I'm going to go back to Fat Jesus. Like, there is a gaming company in Nottingham and they were called Radical Design, and I wondered if you've ever played Time Splitters, because I was obsessed with that game back in the early 2000s. I think it was 2000s.
Dog wants to be on the screen.
You ever heard of it, called Time Splitters? Then again,
I've heard of that game.
Yeah,
I got to look it up because it does sound familiar. I think
he was, early 2000s. Free Radical Design, and they were based in Nottingham, and they were founded in 1990.
Yeah, because they had the Time Splitters Part 2. Yeah, Time Splitters on PS2. Yeah, I thought I'd seen it. Yeah.
I used to love that game.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I thought that sounded familiar. I was like, is that time? I couldn't remember if it was from the PC or PS5 or PS2.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I had a PS1. We used to have a Commodore 64, so I used to play.
A lot of people used to play that when they couldn't play GoldenEye. I remember that.
Oh my god, man! Everybody loved playing or Castle Wolfenstein. That's why I played on the PC.
What was the first game?
The little stick figures going up and down the screen.
Yeah. Oh, so that would be like a bit like
Pitfall.
Oh my god, what's it called? Games Workshop is in Nottingham as well. So like AD&D, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, where you get the little characters and you paint them. Are you that?
Oh, miniatures. That's what we call them here, miniatures.
Yeah.
My son, he's in Oregon, and he has a case. He had me buy him a case for his birthday, and this case is expensive, and he has to carry his miniatures to this convention, and he paints them, he makes them with a 3D printer, and he sells them. And these miniatures go for like 50, 60, sometimes for $100 a piece.
Yeah.
So it depends on the artist, and he paints them and everything. So
it's what was the first game? What was the first game?
Lucrative business.
Business oriented, definitely in an artistic way. That's amazing.
I mean, they seek them out for the artistry on the figurines.
Yeah. So yeah, my question is then, what was the first game you ever played then? Is that how you started live streaming completely? You just like a bit like
goodness. I played arcade games and competed with Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong in arcades, and that was ended up on national TV and news, and when I was a kid, around 10 years old. So I won like this, like state champion arcade games or something like that. Honestly, cool. when you think back at it, it's nothing. It's not like the Olympics or anything. It's just, it was just to get the local businesses.
The groundbreaking at the time. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There wouldn't be many people that would be competing at all.
I'm gonna be straight up with you. Once you unplug the game, your name just disappears.
Yeah,
it doesn't get saved. So all my scores would disappear. So it wasn't until later on when consoles came out you could save your score, because it gets saved onto a memory.
Yeah, onto memory.
But not on arcade games. Arcades, you would have to play again and to prove that you're number one over and over again. And I had to prove it. So that's the way it was back in the day. You had to prove yourself and then prove it again, and people would just, I have to go against you again. Okay, let's go. And sometimes a person would beat you. and sometimes they don't. And you have to get. There's a lot of luck factor when it comes to gaming. There's a new game called The Finals. That's really hard if you don't know how to play in a 3D environment. And the buildings now are collapsible. So all
Mhm.
the buildings are collapsible. You could destroy the buildings, and it changes the map. Now,
Uh,
before the maps wouldn't change, the buildings weren't collapsible. So people would learn the maps, and then they would just cheat. They would cheat by angling themselves and knowing that there's like a little sliver of a space where they would shoot and wait for someone to pop up, and they would shoot right at the precise second and then disappear, and then that's how they would win. But they can't do that in this game. This game, the buildings collapse, and there's a luck factor that would come into play.
Well,
and and
this is interesting because this is also that crossover between gaming and visual effects in film and then AI, because you're allowed to now do this with your 3D world building because of those elements.
Mhm.
And a lot
Yep.
of it comes from green screen, gaming and green
Yeah.
screening for the film effects industry is why it's got so advanced. And I think a lot of actors forget this. It's like you're the reason, if you weren't doing green screening in the first place, so why you're complaining about it when you've given permission to do green screen stuff for your yourself anyway is beyond me, because literally you've helped build the systems. So
Yeah.
why moan about it now that they're built and other people are using them?
I got a game for you. Arc Raiders is a famous game being played right now, and it's out, and a lot of people are playing it. It was
Is it a
streamed
bit like
heavily.
Lara Croft though, because it's got because it said Arc Raiders.
No, well, not really. It's an open world game, and
Okay.
it's 3D environment, but it's you against other people that what okay, the premises of the game is it's the end of the world, and
Mhm.
everybody lives underground
Okay.
because some very rich humans decided to unleash robots onto the world and destroy the world completely, like a World War III with robots like Terminator.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Mhm.
everybody had to run and disappear. So the majority of the of human beings in the world went from 8 billion to 100,000 people in just one day, pretty much.
Okay.
So so
That's
people had
makes
to reboot society underground. So every single time in this game, they have to go and get resources, scrap metal and all that stuff by coming out of these hatches, underground in all these places in this map. So you come out of the hatches and all this stuff, and then you meet up with other people, and then they shoot you because they're all battling to get the scrap metal so they could feed their families.
But
So
did
that's
you
what, and
the thing?
you get to talk to these people too. And so people actually act like
Yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah,
really acting in real life, like, look, I gotta
Mhm.
feed my family, please don't shoot me.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah, yeah. So
there's
what,
nobody's feeding anybody's family. They're just pretending and they're acting, and they're like, oh man, I do feel you, I have to too, and then they leave them alone. And it's
so
so funny
what
because they're streaming it.
what time period is it set in? Is it set in like a modern day
Oh,
time?
it's like 3,000 something,
Oh, so it's
and
the
yeah.
future. But
Oh
don't you
yeah,
think it's like bizarre though? Because I mean, we talk about like Darren Kuyu, and I'm talking about Nottingham with 800 caves and stuff. People go and live underground, but there's so much evidence of people living under the ground in the past, in the ancient past as well. So who is it that's made the game? What's their kind of
See,
interest? Where have they
this is
been? You know what
Norwegians.
I'm saying?
so this is what I like to I'm glad you said that. So when it comes to mythology, it's just like watching any television show or movie that has based on a true story
Yeah.
aspect to it. You know, the story is true, the individuals in the story are true, but as far as everything happening may be fabricated or exaggerated. Like, how do you know what somebody was doing in the bathroom when they woke up at 6 a.m. and there was nobody recording it, right? How do you
Because
know that they did? You know what I'm saying? How you,
years have
unless,
been doing it on their phones.
yeah, unless they told you, right? Unless
Yeah,
they
yeah,
told you, right?
yeah.
But you, I mean, how do you even know they're telling the truth? Because obviously they were lying before they even got caught in the crime that they were doing in the first place, depending on what kind of, based on
Uh,
true events were. So,
yeah,
in reality, I look at mythology the same way. What's the best way to tell this story but make it entertaining for people? Right?
true.
Because what you want people to do is you want people to remember it so they can go tell other people it, right? If they can't remember or grasp an idea of what the show or movie or event is going on, nobody's going to be able to pass that torch on for other people to remember it. So they make
Mm.
it as entertaining as possible. And that's how it goes with these myths. That's why it's important for me. Like, there was a time when I was very, very quiet about what I knew. Literally, like I let everybody tell me what it was. If I felt stupid at one time because, you know, people would tell me different things, and I would be like, okay, let me go along with what they're saying. Then other people would challenge me, and then I would make myself look even more stupid trying to argue about something that I never even really looked into, right? Like I just heard somebody say it. So in reality, like what I like to do is that's why I like to say, okay, um, can believe certain things to be true that you may possibly say, but I need something that shows me why you believe what you believe. Just don't
Yeah.
tell me your gut feeling or to look around the world, because I do look around the world. So that's not a good argument. Don't tell me to go do my own research, because obviously I've done my own research. I'm asking for specific evidence, because if you say that something happened, I have to read it from other than just hearing you say it, because I need to see it for myself.
Yeah.
I trust but verify. I trust that you're going to give me the right information, but I have to verify that information is correct, because at the end of the day, when somebody comes and says, "Hey, can you provide that for me?" I don't want to be like, "No, I can't." Because now they may not be as lenient as I was on you when you couldn't provide it, right? So, and can I be mad at them for being angry that I can't provide them a source if I'm telling them something? No, I can't be mad, right? Because I should have get at basic level just said, "Hey, let me see it for myself." There's so many different ways to store information today that you don't have to remember everything word for word, or remember it like the Book of Eli, for example. How you remember Denzel Washington in that movie? He was blind, and the book was actually the Holy Bible was actually written in Braille. And when they took it, he was the only one that could remember it verbatim, word for word. We don't have to do that nowadays. It's going to get to the point where technology, AI, and all kind of ideas are going to be able to be used through these neural link type things, where things are going to be downloaded to your brain. You're not even going to have to remember it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You're just like exactly thinking about that. But for Neuralink, it's the two people who have already got a Neuralink, and it's helped one of them being able to speak and one of them being able to walk again. Or is it there's a documentary, a short documentary from Neuralink itself on their X, and there's a guy that I think he was the first person to have one, and it's helping him to speak again.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
what it does is obviously it reads his memory patterns, it reads his
yeah,
brainwave signals, and then it's trying to process them into speech, into what it thinks he's thinking, and
yeah.
he can't talk properly at the moment. So it's I think it was like 100% accurate or something on. So that's quite an interesting thing. I actually wrote a script about Neuralink,
Mhm.
which I want to turn into an AI film again. It's just I will do it, but when
Did
is
you know that Neuralink didn't invent the brain chip?
but he did what? Sorry,
They did not invent the brain chip.
no, that was probably beforehand, but I don't know who it would have been. But I know that
I wrote a paper
around
on it.
for a while.
I
You
wrote
did. You
I
wrote
wrote
for
a paper on it in 2005 on 2014 with
Is
my
it on
English
your
teacher.
website?
No, it's on with my English teacher when I was doing my 4-year degree in Miami, Florida. I wrote about it because my teacher, the premises, and it had nothing to do with AI or anything like that. My teacher set up a title and said, "Hey, this is the title, and I want you to research this title. Why is Google making us dumber? That was the title. Now I want you all to go research and find out why Google is making us that. And there was an article, and this article it was on the New York Times and all that stuff all over the world. And at the time, it was back in 2010 that Google, because people were using Google so much that they were forgetting to write, they were forgetting to read a book, they were
Hmm.
forgetting, and people were starting to regress. And here
Hmm.
we have today how people are acting. They act suspicious. Conspiracy theories are all over the place. There's more flat earthers than there ever before. People are just becoming dumber and dumber along the way. And we used to be book smart. We used to research, and we used to go to the library and go through the card catalogs and all that
Yeah.
good stuff. But now we just use Google all the time. So that was the premises of the whole thing. So I started doing research. Lo and behold, I use Google for this. So I went to, and I used my powers of as a disabled veteran, to research, because I'm an older gentleman. Now the kids that were in college, they don't have the knowledge I have because they're young. So I have the knowledge of the US government. So I went to the Library of Congress and I went researching in DARPA. And DARPA is our
Yeah.
technology, they have everything. So I went through them, and then I found that they're working on a brain chip. And where did they find this brain chip? And then I started researching more. They got it from Boston University, and then Boston University, they had a chimpanzee, and they hooked up a hardwire a chimpanzee into a wireless robot arm, and that's where the brain chip came from
Well, how
that,
long
and
ago was that?
that's 30 years ago.
Okay. So like the okay, so that's I mean that's 30 years
That's a
ago.
long time ago.
So you
And that
mentioned
was
DARPA.
that was a big contraption.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
now,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, can you
so
imagine?
what happened is that because Elon Musk has government contracts with SpaceX, he tapped into his government contracts, and then when he can grab anything he wants and creates a company. He created Neuralink, and he took one of the government contracts. Now remember, whatever he creates, he has to share it with DARPA, with the United States government. So
Yeah,
DARPA, one of the main things they want to do with the chip is to make it smaller.
yeah,
Another
yeah.
thing is that other companies also took the chip and made it smaller, and they use it for the veterans. And you could see at the VA hospital there are veterans with a brain chip that have legs that move normally, like normal legs. They don't have legs, but their legs look like normal human legs that move because they control it with a brain chip. And this is before Neuralink ever even came around. So Neuralink is not like this big thing. Ooh,
No,
wow.
no.
It,
Well, I mean, it's interesting because like I mentioned Byron earlier. Okay, Lord Byron, who lived in Nottingham. He was like, yeah. So there's a lot of controversy around it. But his daughter was called Ada Lovelace. So DARPA, their main software is called Ada, because it's named after Ada Lovelace. So Ada Lovelace is considered to be the first computer programmer. She was female, so she was kind
wow.
of buried for a bit, right? So when you bear in mind, though, that her father was Lord Byron, and a friend of Byron's was Percy Shelley and Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, and his doctor, Polidori or something, wrote a vampire story. So Dracula, and so that was all around that area. So when you look at Frankenstein and what Frankenstein is all about, it's about reanimating life. Yeah. So it's interesting that, like, because from my perspective in that 18th century, kind of 19th century Gothic history, novel telling, storytelling, Frankenstein, biblical kind of resurrection, time travel, and bringing life back. Frankenstein is exactly that. It's like literally bringing dead life back to a resurrected form of living life. So for me, like it's something I kind of would on the verge know about, because I'm really interested in that sort of stuff, especially like the CIA's esoteric department. So I like reading their old like declassified documents and
Well,
things.
if you're interested in that, then you probably be interested that our special forces uses the chip too.
Yeah, because to be fair, part of my
Do you know why they use it?
well,
They don't use it for limbs.
no, part of my doctorate was about applications of sound in the police force and in military applications. Now, I don't know.
You're thinking the right way. Sound.
Yeah, so
Why?
it's going to
Why is sound important? Because when you make a sound in a hostile environment, it people can locate you, right?
there's not
So
just that. There's many things you can do with sound. I mean,
with
there are
with a brain chip, you can communicate through silence.
well, you can, yeah, but that's psychic skills, which we all have anyway. If you want to go down the metaphysical route and the brain itself, and dimensional route. I mean, this is like CERN as well. You know,
We are harnessing that is, we believe, metaphysical, which is mythological, and we are harnessing and making it physical and transferring into our physical realm.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? We are actually taking, we've been doing this from the beginning of time. We take nature.
It's so funny.
No, hold on. We take nature. We destroy every tree in the world, and then we erect buildings instead.
Yeah.
Those are our trees. Our trees are our buildings.
Yeah.
But we destroy nature, but we create hospitals. But the hospitals of nature are the trees, the swamps, and everything, and they protect and take care of the animals.
Yeah.
And they have the forest in the Amazon, because I lived in the Amazon rainforest, by the way.
Oh wow!
And that's a whole story altogether. I got sick, almost died, all that stuff, and I lived with the indigenous headhunters and everything. But I tell you what, the Amazon rainforest is a living, breathing being altogether. And you destroy that itself is like destroying it's like destroying all of Gaza. It's like destroying the hospital, the police stations, everything, and just leveling it out and then rebuilding again.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
what it is.
Body. That's exactly what I feel. And yeah.
And just to answer your question on what's happening with AI, is that they're creating data centers all over the world because there's not enough memory to hold the information that is being provided.
Well,
this is a big problem.
Yeah, and this is where they should use BSV blockchain technology, because when you've got the blockchain, which is immutable, and you don't need hard drives to store data on, you can store it on the blockchain, and that is an immutable transaction that will stay there for as long as the blockchain exists, which exists for as long as humankind will use it for. You can build, 1 million transactions at the moment on the BSV blockchain, so you could save all of that information. AI and BSV would work brilliantly together on blockchain technology for literally having, not only peer-to-peer payments, but for storage of information. It is basically a massive data storage system. So why build why build infrastructure for chips to save information when you could just literally put it on the blockchain? It would say, you've got, and then your miners are the ones that are just mining away. You've got global transactions, global economic trade 50 times over would work.
You want me to blow your mind? All right, you ready? You ready for this? You want me to blow your mind away? Okay. Anthropology, straight up. We're going to go down this track. Cultural anthropology and the thought of it, all right? We're going to level down and think about this. Extraterrestrial technology, human technology. Everything that you said is beyond anything anybody's ever seen in history. 100 years ago, nobody would have ever thought about how. I mean, we had books back then, newspapers, the yellow pages. That's how we saved information. All right. I mean, I flipped through the yellow pages. I went through card catalogs. Yeah, that was how we had information. That's how we saved it. We didn't have USBs and stuff like that. So here we
Yeah, we
go.
did. We had floppy disks, bro. What you talking about?
Yeah, no, those floppy disks did not hold that much. Once you
Yeah,
put a magnet to it, that is the end of
yeah,
it.
yeah. Not when the yellow vision first
we
came
had
out.
we had DVD-Rs.
But no, but yeah, it didn't hold that much. But I'll tell you what, man. Here we go. Here we go. If extraterrestrials really exist, would they waste their times putting it on pyramids?
The thing is, extraterrestrials do exist, but in a microbiome.
No, but I'm trying to communicate with the rest of the world about all these pyramids and the writings on the wall and how high tech the pyramids are and all these things. Oh my gosh, who could do this and with a laser, But why would extraterrestrials waste their time engrave stuff on the wall when they had holographic technology?
Exactly.
And
this,
Bitcoin technology, and if they became extinct, all of it would disappear, all of it, because where would you save it? Where would it go? Where's the technology now? Underground? Did it disintegrate? Did the lava eat it all up? Where is it? Where is it? Where would our technology go if a million years go by? Where would it go? If the Earth folded over, where would we store the
A
energy?
million years? I mean,
what could we say to the future in a million years to the next humanoids that walk the Earth? You guys don't ever think about that stuff.
Well, a million
I
years
do.
is a very, very long way in the future. I mean,
I think about that stuff. That is my premise. That is my degree field. I think about a million years from now.
Yeah.
How do we prepare for a million years from now?
Well,
what do we do for the next humanoids? Because once we become extinct, what do we do to leave our legacy for them?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be here long. I'm going to be here for 100 years. And then what do we do
and
to prepare the next generation? The
history that we do have, which only spans, apparently what we can say about 5,000 to 6,000 years, 9,000 years, 11,000 years.
We might be still around, but a million years, I don't know.
But at least, there has been ways to convey that information, like you say, and the information has been stored on granite. Well, I think I mentioned this before. What's to say that if we knew about sound technology and they knew pretty intricately about what sound could actually do back then, 5,000, 9,000 years ago, the frequencies and star maps and everything and light, they knew quite a lot of stuff. What's to say that they didn't know how to store information on a diamond at that point in time?
Yeah, are we looking in the wrong place? Are we destroying the technology so we could wear it around our neck?
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is as well is, aren't we missing like 1.2 million years worth of the Earth's history because it's been churned up by glaciers? So whatever was under the glaciers, we don't know. At the moment. And the same with our oceans. We've got 2 oceans. The same we've only explored a pinpoint of the sky. So how do we can't say there are no extraterrestrials because we haven't seen.
Stig is in the chat. Look at that. Welcome, Stig.
It's amazing to me because
we sent you a link, brother.
He's at his mom's house taking care of some stuff.
Oh, you taking care of mom? Good for you, brother.
But I think technology is amazing. I think AI is amazing. I think there's a lot of people that don't like it because it takes away their jobs. I mean, in reality, you may lose that job or that field of work may be lost to AI, but somebody's going to have to take care of that AI. So now you can learn another trade, right?
Have you guys ever seen The Time Traveler?
Yeah. The film?
Yeah. It's an old film. I think 2014, I think. Time Traveler. He travels through time, I guess from the early 1900s. And he wants to save his girlfriend or his fiancée because she got hit by a horse and cart, and then he travels back in time to save her. And every time he tries to save her, she dies. because destiny is killing her, and then he's like so depressed he decides to travel into the future. And then he's just like in this whole self-discovery into the future, and then he runs into an AI at a museum. And this AI, I mean, humanity built this AI that is fortified, like nothing could destroy it almost. And it has all the knowledge of the world in it. And then he travels even into the future, and somehow World War III or World War IV or whatever destroyed, or a natural disaster destroys all of humanity, and somehow humanity survives. And now it's humans from under the ground, surface up, and they're like these hideous creatures, and there's actual humans on above ground that survived, and they're beautiful people. And it's so weird. It's like something out of Star Trek. And this AI is still around, and it's become this god to these people because they don't know anything about it, but they're learning everything they have to learn from this AI. And it's a hologram, and it travels in the glass, and they're like the speaking glass or the speaking mirror or something. It's crazy.
It's a bit like Doctor Who, though, like in a sense,
Doctor Who.
Yeah, exactly, Doctor Who.
But Doctor Who is more like a comedy, but this one is more of a seriousness to it.
But yeah.
Like it's like a pending doom. Like the future is so doomed that this guy is trying to set things right, and he doesn't even go back in time back to his own time. He actually stays in the future.
Well, time travel is theoretically possible. We just haven't built the machine to make it happen yet. But the theory.
What if we did?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, we can teleport. Like,
who would you tell your findings to?
Well, yeah.
You couldn't tell anybody about it because nobody would ever know what you just did when you travel back and forth in time.
No, now you've got to test it, haven't you? And how do you test it to make sure that it actually works, and then bring the subject back to tell you about the fact that it did work? Yeah.
But here's the thing, and I already told Rebirth about this. He's waiting for me to say it. Yeah. If you travel back in time on one point, let's say on Earth, you're in your flat, right? You travel back in time. What would be the biggest mistake that you would calculate if you traveled back a month on the same day? What would happen to you?
I don't know, but I'm sure that
I'll tell you. You want to know?
Do it in the first place because you're going to mess up some time continuum.
No. You would not mess up anything.
Bring yourself back. I mean, you could bring yourself back to the future point. You would probably.
You know what would happen?
No, you'd probably die.
Yeah, you would die suffocating in space because the Earth would be on the other side.
Because it wouldn't be where it was a month ago.
There you go. You see, calculating time. Also, you have to calculate the location of the Earth, the stars. That's how the astronomers would calculate everything. Every ancient astronomer would calculate the stars, the location of the stone hedges. Everything was based on where you were standing.
What if those things are used for that?
And yeah, but that they understood what time and space and how movement actually worked. And when you think about it, if you do travel backwards in time, what is there to say that you might end up in a parallel universe? A universe that
there isn't anything to say that you might not, because nobody's actually done it, so we just don't know.
But think about it. You just begun a brand new universe. When you travel backwards in time, you're in a whole new universe. But the universe that you just came from is your universe. Mm-hmm. But if you travel backwards in time, you're not going to your universe because you just split the universe in half. You just started brand new. So your universe is now gone. It still exists, but trying to get back to it would require a different component on your time machine, which you don't have because you had no idea it existed. So now you travel backwards. Like, yes, I traveled back in time. I'm here. And nobody knows who the heck you are, you know, because they have no idea. And you travel forward in time. Now you're in even worse condition because you didn't even travel back to the same time you came from. Now you're lost in time. This is now a Doctor Who episode. You're all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
You're all over the place. And that's why you never seen a time traveler, or you did see a time traveler, but not from your time, not from your planet, but from a different parallel universe, and going, oh my God, I am lost. You know?
Yeah. Which is like the seeping in of different dimensions crossing over each other at certain points in time, or a certain frequency of an event where a dimension will overlap another dimension. Is that not what, like, when universes collide?
That's why
what that's that.
Oh, and his lottery numbers are different from yours.
And that's what I wanted to bring up earlier was I've talked to Fat Jesus about this plenty of times about Dolores Cannon. So Dolores Cannon is an individual who wrote about 15 books or more, or something like that, somewhere around there. And I've read all. She basically, yeah, I've read a lot of the books already. I'm almost done reading her books. But she wrote these books, and most of them have to do with, you know, hypnotizing people, putting them under some type of hypnosis. And they're able to look at their past life regression. She's able to look at their past life regression doing that and seeing who they were in past lives. And they talk about these different things that went on. And they say, and you know, and these are lots of people. Like she interviewed thousands and thousands of people. And she's supposed to be like, and ever since I heard her name, I've learned that most hypnotists who are in the field or do something in that field or somewhere in that field, they would know who she is. So she would be like the basic go-to person if you wanted to know about it, right? And she had her own technique and stuff like that. And she says, first of all, time travel is real. It's just not in the essence of being able to take your physical body. Time travel is only available. What she says, some of them would say this. These people said this. Not everybody said the same exact thing, but they was about the roundabout same thing. But it had to go with your physical body was only here on this planet. We can only be physical on this planet because it's the atmosphere and the conditions on this planet is why we be physical. Extraterrestrials or anything that seems like that's not from this planet comes here through some type of light or some kind of energy. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. That's why you always hear that energy.
Well, that's obvious because atoms are energy.
Frequency vibration.
Yeah, so everything, exactly, Fadji. Like you said, atoms. Like a lot of people who talk about atom, they'll say, "Well, it was an atom with ADA."
Well, Dolores can't, and she can't fool me, man. You know,
but
she can't.
No, it's
she
not.
Can't,
No, it's not her. It's she interviewed people that experienced these things that had past lives. Like I'm actually going to do a past.
I would be a conspiracy theorist. I'd be the naysayer in her group. I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I know atoms have energy. Thanks a lot for that information.
Well, no, it's not her saying it. It's the people. No, it's not her saying it. It's the people she's hypnotizing. So they would explain it. They would explain it from their, I guess, from a different, I guess. Okay, so everybody has a soul. We all know that. And that soul is what inhabits our body. That soul is what the easiest term for them to put it into is energy, frequency, or some kind of vibration or something like that. And like I said, the only way to be on this planet is through some type of physical body. We pick these bodies. We pick and choose when we want to come here and do. Everybody on this planet has a specific task to do, whether they realize it's big or not, right? Like, for instance, my personality. You guys know my personality. Y'all have witnessed my personality plenty of times. But nowhere have y'all ever witnessed, or anybody has witnessed, that when I said something, anybody could have argued against it, because all I do is take what I've read. That could be my way to tell somebody, look, you're arguing with the wrong person. I can be your greatest ally or I can be your greatest enemy, meaning that I can back up what you say with more sources just to help you out to shut some of these naysayers down, or I can tell you that you might need to upgrade your information by reading this source. And if you go come after me a certain way, then I can say, okay, now I'm going to attack everything that you said wrong now. And that can be my way of sharing certain things. Like I have this thing where, and I tell people this all the time, and I'll tell you this for some reason, and it never fails. I swear to God, I promise. People tell me things that will in many ways backfire on them. And I know this because it leads up to that. I can see when something is going to backfire before it even happens. I know when something is going to go down a certain path before it happens. It's almost like a psychic or a prophet type thing, some people will call it. And Dolores Cannon says everybody on this planet has this, like yours, Dr. Diz. You have entertainment and you bring all that into AI. Now, if you had the money and the crew, you could probably make it more sustainable to the point where people will recognize it or on a greater scale. But because you're solo, you don't have the time to present your work and promote it the way you want to, because being solo is very hard. It takes hours to do what you do. I know because I edit videos. You know what I mean? And when you have a passion for something, you don't necessarily go for a certain feel good for it. Everybody's passion is for a different reason. They do things different. So Dolores Cannon basically says that um, from her books, and her books where every soul, every person on this planet has their own way of helping society grow. Now that can be a good thing or a bad thing. You can't have good without bad. You can't have good without evil. You can't have hurt without love and hate without love and so on and so forth. You got to have something to balance it out. So we're all on this planet to do something in our own way. And when we decide to leave
We
this
have our
planet,
journeys.
yeah, our own journey. Exactly. We have our own journey and we do things that make us feel good. I'm not the same person like you are, and you're not the same person as me. You
And
know, I
our lives change us too. Our
yeah, our
past
lives
lives.
change us. I've been in the military, so I
Me
know what
too.
it means to feel to stick up for people, not just for myself but for others. I've lost friends, plenty of friends, for sticking up
Yeah.
for somebody that needed to be stuck up for. Meaning that if you don't like somebody, my first of all, if you're talking about somebody to me, then my question is, what makes you think that you feel should feel comfortable enough to talk to me about somebody we're both cool with? Because I'm going to go run to that person and say, look, hey, this person don't like you because of this, that, and the third. I'm not going to keep a secret between two friends. If you're supposedly be two friends, then you guys should be able to talk, or all three of us should be able to talk.
Or political
Yeah,
likenesses.
yeah, but I don't. My thing is that in this world, in this field,
Politics can really separate people in this
that
country.
yeah, well, of
Yeah.
course, but it's not just politics. Is people, like I said, in this field, people feel like they want to be on top of everything, and that's where the passion. You can tell the passion from some people. Like, I don't care about being right, because if I wanted to be popular, I can just go to every book that I've read and find something that agrees what they say and say, yeah, this person's 100%. I have everybody on my side. But then I can't do that because I read something that goes against it. So now I want their input on it, and I want to see what they say. And a lot of people don't want, a lot of people don't
I
want to feel like they're
I
wrong.
I was like that a while back where I listened to everybody and I had oppositions, like political oppositions to what I believed in. And I like to keep my ear to the ground, like a indigenous American, like listen for the train coming,
Mm-hmm.
put my ear there, and I'm like, here comes the iron train. So I try to listen and understand, and understanding in this field I'm in, understanding culture is so important. Is to understand how people react to things and why they're acting the way they act. And I'm kind of fed up with AI is really a big pusher of political prowess in this country. It really has changed the how can I say, the map of this country, like the whole area. So basically, what AI has done, and people don't know, it sounds like I'm not getting around to the point of it. The AI they use here in this country is it they feed it personal information, and that AI, what it does, it takes people's personal, it individually separates every person, sends them emails, sends them messages in their social media. That's the whole problem with Facebook. They got in trouble, they were charged millions of dollars and stuff like that. But they were indicted, whatever, by the US government. That was the whole Cambridge Analytica stuff.
Oh,
And
there's been one since then. But yeah.
and what happened was that AI, and if you try to Google Cambridge Analytica, AI will say that's not an AI. It is a damn AI, because what it does, it grabs the personal information, and then it negatively sends. It actually takes the information that is truthful, and then it changes the words around to say no instead of it being yes. So it makes the person think, yes, I need to vote for this, yes, but in fact they needed to vote no, but the information should have been yes, but now they're being lied to about the whole information. So everybody is being fed misinformation by an AI, and it's being sent to emails, being sent to social media, and they're being pounded with, and this is silly, memes. And this was back 8 years ago. Memes were like truth to people, like, oh yeah, that sounds real. That's that they believed in memes. My son, back then, he was 15 years old. He would he would do this to adults. He would send memes that were like almost real, and adults would go crazy thinking that it was real, and he would laugh as a teenager. And I'm like, son, that's terrible. But I thought it was funny too, because how could people believe in a meme? A meme is dumb. Why would you believe in a photo and words that have no research background? It's not real. And this is the dangers of AI. This is the dangers of people posting nonsense and people believing in it. And this was back then. Now, these days, people don't really believe anything on memes anymore, but because they've been brutally, brutally lied to so much.
But
Mhm.
doesn't that equate to the same as literally headlines on newspapers? Originally we had newspapers, but it's all clickbait. It's all headlines that are there to grab people's attention. This goes to writing because there are structures in writing. So that, like the advertising side of things, there are ways to clickbait people or make people react. Isn't like breakfast cereal one of the biggest hoaxes as well in history? You need breakfast every single day, so you need cornflakes. Well, actually, no, you don't.
No,
Do you know what it's like? Advertising
I'm still alive. I don't eat breakfast every morning.
that's what I mean. But it's easy to convince people that they need something they don't need with, like you say, with images and words. If it's hitting the psychologically,
But if
uh,
you're a kid, and you're expending lots of energy and you're going to school every morning, I think a child has to have breakfast. But if you're an adult,
yeah, different,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
you have a different type of energy going on
But you
in you.
don't need things like Frosties, which are coated in sugar.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah,
Yeah. And your body has changed as an
yeah,
adult. You're going to get diabetes, Yeah, I
yeah.
mean kids still can get diabetes, but the thing is that adults are more susceptible to other diseases and ailments because your body starts slowing down
Mm.
tremendously.
It's interesting you said about Cambridge Analytica as well, because obviously Cambridge Analytica is a British company.
Well, SCL Group is the British company. Cambridge
Right,
Analytica is the sister
part,
company
right.
in America. But
Okay,
SCL Group has also had companies in Hong Kong, India, and I believe in Sweden as well,
okay.
all over the place. And Steve Bannon didn't close down the one in India and in Hong Kong when it all closed down. So he continued the one in India, and that's why he traveled all the way out to India afterwards during the campaign of Trump. And then if you see the pictures of Trump's campaign, there were no black people voting for Trump at the time. None. Until there were pictures appearing, black people wearing Trump shirts or voting, like pictures for the campaign. And guess what I found? A shirt that says, nope. I found, no, it wasn't AI. It was a black man, a black teenager wearing a shirt saying South Africa University. Now, is that an American wearing a South African University shirt, or are they taking pictures in India, hiring South Africans, black South Africans, to go to India, take pictures, and that's illegal, by the way. In America, you're not supposed to have that stuff going on over there. Anything political needs to be paid for and done here in the United States. You can't do it overseas. And that's a third party company, so nobody knows. It's a ghost company. And I caught it, but I don't know how many more people caught it. And I mean, Steve Bannon went to jail. I think that's why he went to jail, but it doesn't say that's the reason why he went there. He went to jail because of Cambridge Analytica and all that stuff.
Okay. I didn't realize that part of it. I was just going to say.
Oh, I deep dived on that thing.
That, Meta and Google have just been sued again, haven't they, for harming children with their.
That's crazy.
Algorithms. Yeah. And in the UK, they're talking about banning access to the internet for under 16.
Did you see the movie? Did you see the movie that they made of Cambridge Analytica?
No. What was it called?
Shit. You have to type it up because I don't remember it. It was made back then. They made it so fast that they pulled it out. But Facebook was not the only social media company on the same floor. TikTok was there. Microsoft. Their company was there. You know why Microsoft's streaming company went out of business? I mean, why they took it apart was because of that altogether.
What, it was Skype?
Okay.
You talking about Skype?
No, the streaming company. No, it's not
Skype.
The other
Zoom?
one. No. It's the gaming one. But I was subscribed to that one. I'm like, I was wondering why would they close that down? They were the only competitors against Twitch. They were doing so well. They had Ninja and all these other famous streamers.
Oh, is that where he came from?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Microsoft jumped ship really fast so they don't get sued. And then you had Google on that floor. You had every social media on the same floor. And they thought Cambridge Analytica was just a research company. That's what they said. But they fed them everybody's personal information into the algorithm. Now, who has that algorithm? The only person I could think of that has that algorithm, that took the algorithm was Trump and Steve Bannon, their best friends. And then they fed it to Elon Musk, to his AI system. And that was it. And I don't know where it went from there.
Well, let's be honest for a second. Have we ever been personal with our information? Hell no, because when you type in an email, what do you usually do?
Well,
for security questions.
Here's one other thing. What did Elon Musk do when he created Doge? Do you know this part, Dr. Dids?
Do you not have to do like KYC? Know your customer. Or like, because you see, a lot of this goes with what I was talking about with the online safety bill and the EU AI laws and the internet laws, and them putting things into place, whereas you can't now have an account on anything unless they know your actual name, date of birth.
AI needs your personal information, needs your medical information, needs to know if you go fishing on Saturday, needs to know what lure you're using when you go fishing, needs to know how you put your pants on if you put it on backwards. It needs to know what shoes you wear, if it's dirty, if it's clean. It needs to know what house you live live in and what house you go to on the weekends. It needs to know every little detail.
But these are things that they talk about when they go to meetings at the WEF, the World Economic Forum, and then the World Government Summit as well, which is a thing that's been happening for like 10 years or so. So all the top brass, all the top MIT people will go and they'll do talks there, and that's where they network. So they've known about this stuff for a long time. So it's governments that want the information. It's governments that are collecting the information, so like the CCP. They've got their AI, the Chinese AI. You think yours is good? Theirs is really fucking good. So it's like they've been using this stuff for years. They've also got the digital UN. They've got the red letter and the We app and everything. So it's only going the same way, which is what the European government were talking about with centralized digital currencies, CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. And all of that. I mean, we've just had a thing where they wanted to have digital ID for anybody in Britain, but we already have digital ID, so it didn't make any sense because you need your driving license, which is a digital ID, to be able to log into your digital ID that the government wanted, which has already been hacked before they even released it. So the governments are wanting more and more information, which is a violation of privacy. So it breaks every privacy law that has ever been. But they say they get around that because it's security, for the country's security. But how they're all doing it, and they've been doing it for a long time. And they can say, it's the guise of medical, etc., etc. But what does that mean? They're not going to use that information for the good of you, are they? They're going to use it for the good of them and whoever it is that's plowing money into the AI systems. But it's not new. But then again, maybe it's only not new because I'm the kind of person that has looked into all of this stuff. I find it really difficult to speak to people on the street sometimes, or just normal people, about what blockchain is because they don't know what blockchain is, what a digital currency is because they don't know what a digital currency, what AI can actually do. I mean, like even simple things like like House Lassie. Did you know that he was like directly bloodline from King Solomon? Things that I think are just natural that people would instantly know. I find it really hard to talk to people about because nobody knows what I'm talking about, because maybe because I am up on, like, I read Life 3.0, which is Max Tegmark, I think his name is, and it was on about how AI is going to be implemented and what it's going to do and how people are going to react to it and how it's going to take over systems and things, which is exactly what's happening now. So it's interesting. You either embrace it or you don't, but we aren't going to have, all we can do is protest, and all we can do is sign a lot of forms to sort of say we disagree with this that you're doing and petition things, but they're not going to listen to a general bloke on the street, and they're not going to stop the progress from what governments have already arranged to do. So what that actually means for the average Joe blogs, I don't know, but these things have been in systems, and these things have been signed, sealed, and delivered on for a long time.
Agreed.
I mean, one of the things that people go on about is chemtrails. So there's a lot of people who don't think chemtrails exist, but we know for a fact that, like, isn't it, they've been doing experiments with chemtrails since the Second World War.
Since Vietnam, they had they used it in Vietnam.
Yeah, and we've got evidence to show that. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because you say, like, you can have somebody in front of you, and you can tell them these things, and they'll take it on board, and then maybe believe what you're saying, maybe not. But then you've got other people that just adamantly will not agree with anything you say. It's like the big
that's what I hate. That's what really irritates me is that. When I came into this, I always used to hear people, and I still hear people say, well, I need a source. Tell me where I can learn this at. I literally give people sources, and they're like, well, that's not right. And I'm just like, Well, okay, tell me what is right then, and then I ask them, give me somebody else who wrote about it, not or just said it. I always say this: you can have two people who have a PhD who went to the same class, the same school, the same teacher, got the same information, and still come up with two different theories,
Yeah,
hypotheses,
you
and
could say
ideas.
this is all.
So for me to sit here and believe one person over the other, I don't believe another person over the other. I just don't go off of he say, she say. And what I mean by he say, she say is I'm not going to go off what I say or what you say. Let's go our sources say. Okay.
Yeah.
If people say that the earth is 4.5 billion years old or whatever, right? Whatever amount they want to say, and the universe is 13.5 or whatever, what sources are they using? Well, they're using a mathematical equation. Okay. And honestly, I'm not good in math, so I'm not going to challenge. Okay. Now, if somebody says that the universe is 13.5 and somebody says it's 20.5, that's a 7.5, 7 point billion difference. I think I said the math right. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not good in math. But anyway, um, there's a gap between it. And, it's always a roundabout for me. A lot of people will say, this happened in 1900s, or this happened in, 3200 BC, or this happened at 12,000 BC. And it couldn't have been just 12,000 BC. It could have been 12,000 BC, or it could have been 1234, or it could have been 1215, or 1267, or it could have been anything. A roundabout time frame doesn't make a difference to me. So whether it's 13.5 billion or 20 billion years old the universe could be, doesn't make a difference to me. That's still close. We won't get an exact date unless we go back and see when it actually happened. So a lot of people get stuck on dates and time frame and stuff like that, and a lot of people get really upset with the fact that they want to be right about what, like, how can I say, like Gobekli Tepe. Everybody wants to say, well, Gobekli Tepe was one of the oldest structures, but you have structures that are older than that. Then you have structures that were older than that were that was using, basic materials. Like somebody, like if we built something a million years ago, it's not going to last a million years long. You know what I'm saying? No matter how good the house is, or the stone, or whatever the case may be, it's not going to last a million years. Matter of fact, I'm actually in the middle of writing an article on tectonic plates, and how earthquakes and stuff like that, and how breaking the earth and stuff like that can create new continents and land and so on and so forth, because we see signs of that happening today. And we also know that tectonic plates, where the pyramids of Egypt are at right now, is not going to be there. Depending on how fast tectonic plates can move, they're going to be disappear. It's going to be swallowed up by earth one day, literally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So not just the pyramids, but also the Gobekli Tepe and everything else. Everything on this planet is eventually going to be sucked up by Earth, because everything is still moving, everything is still changing.
Or
So
buried. Because recently, so you say, like, people give you a rough age, okay, so a rough year. But just think about like what happened in the 1900s. We had 2 world wars. Do you know what I mean? Beginning. So that caused a lot of things to disappear. But also, like a bit back, not that long ago, is in May last year, there was a village in Switzerland called Blatten, and it was literally buried and flattened under the fact that a massive glacier collapsed on top of it.
When you finish there, I want to share something with you.
So, where is, if that wasn't recorded, how many little villages have disappeared over the ages to glaciers that have just fell on top of them, but we don't know about this.
All right, I don't think we have the sound for this, but this is Cambridge Analytica, and that website is completely erased from the internet. And I have ways of capturing the website.
Weren't Chase Bank, they were working on some kind of technology that would follow your eyes around the screen, so it could see exactly where you were looking at any point, and then it would flash an advert at you.
This is their advertisement. This is Cambridge Analytica's advertisement.
Yeah, it's not gonna do me no good with no audio.
Yeah, there's no audio, but they they show you the election results of Trump, and they are the reason why Trump won.
All this conspiracy stuff, man. That stuff we
No,
can't
no,
control.
this is not conspiracy. This is their advertisement.
Yeah,
This,
there's
this is
no.
this is a real company. This is not. This is their website. This is their sell point. You think this is all I got? I got more.
I mean, it says their campaign delivered psychologically targeted ads. And saying that's like that's what it is. It's psychological warfare, isn't it? Really, it's fighting for your mind, fighting for your.
Yeah, this doesn't have audio. I've been trying to press on the audio button here, but it doesn't do the audio because it's on the Wayback Machine. Better audience targeting communication has changed. Blanket advertising no longer provides viable ROI for every campaign. Big data revolutionized the way organizations identify and locate their best prospects, but data alone isn't enough. Cambridge Analytica is building a future where every individual can have a truly personal relationship with their favorite brands and causes by showing organizations not just where people are, but what they really care about and what drives their behavior. Powered by smarter data modeling. Okay, so this is not the only thing I got. Hold on.
But isn't that what they do? Though, don't they pay social engineers to sit on the internet and socially engineer scenarios that aren't real just to manipulate people? They did that with BTC.
Well, that's what Elon Musk and his AI and his Grok is trying to fight right now, is the misrepresentation in AI videos and stuff like that. You know, I look at it like this. So as easy as it is to do research and verify information, believing a video should be the last thing you should do. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people don't put their site.
You should literally be able to type in, "Hey, can you verify this?" with Grok, ChatGPT.
Okay, so this is to afford them. You have to at least have $1 million in hand, and it costs around $5 million, $10 million to hire them. At Cambridge Analytica, we understand that every customer, every cause, and every campaign is unique. That's why we help you connect and every member of your audience on an individual level in ways to engage, inform, and drive them to action. We bring together 25 years of experience in behavior change, pioneering, data science, and cutting-edge technology to offer unparalleled audience insight, engagement, service, and products. And then 5,000 data points per person. We collect up to 5,000 data points on over 220 million Americans and use more than 100 data variables to model target audience groups and predict the behavior or like-minded people. Constant testing, improving and then it just goes into the same thing we were just talking about. So
psychological manipulation.
Yeah, and they go by the demographics. They know the female ages, their color, their gender, the demographic views, psychographic reviews. I mean, the thing is racist as hell, man. Biased as hell, but they know everything about everybody. I mean, you live in a mythological world thinking that this doesn't exist.
Well, actually, they only know everything about everybody who's ever been on the internet.
That's what I was saying. I was going to say even before that.
30-odd%.
I'm telling you guys, with Cambridge Analytica AI, they know everything that you do. They know when you cut your nails.
I don't give a damn. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Look, this whole idea of people knowing what I do and all this other stuff means shit to me. And I'm going to be honest. That
information.
No. I'm gonna. I know. No. It can't. You can't manipulate me. I'm too hard to manipulate. I'm going to tell you 2 reasons why I'm not easily manipulated. One, I'm not a follower. I would never follow a crowd. I always want to be the leader. Why? Because I want to be in charge of what happens to me, not somebody else. 2, you can't manipulate me because I'm too busy asking too many damn questions. So to manipulate me, you're going to have to cut my tongue out, and even in my head, I'm still going to ask questions one way or another, right? So manipulating me has nothing to do with this. So when people used to talk about the cameras and all this other stuff, people manipulating you, finding out who you are. First of all, I grew up in the age, just like you Fat Jesus, we grew up in the age of the internet, and you, Dr. Dids.
Yeah.
Y'all remember the days where, and it still happens today, security questions, okay? They asked you 3 security questions whenever you set up a password, right? Now, the other thing is we all walk around with cell phones. They all have cameras on there, right? I have a camera in front of me. I have, Alexa and Google and all this other stuff in my house. I don't care if somebody's listening in on me, because first of all, and what I mean by listening in on me, the government listening in on me, if I'm that important for you to listen to me, then something's wrong, okay? Because I'm a nobody. I just read a lot of books. Nothing that I know is hidden information. All this information's in books. So if you mad at me for reading something out of a book, then you need to shut that book, that publication down. not me, right? You know what I'm saying? So
Here, pop up my screen real quick.
But it's about jurisdiction though as well, because in America, obviously, you've got a lot of freedom that people in different.
Yeah, but see, a lot of people are manipulated because they don't do their due diligence and they don't do their own research. See, an AI video can't fool me. At the beginning of CGI,
that's you, but you're not 90%.
No, I don't even think 90% of people are fooled. I think most.
I believe 90%. I know. No, that 90% I think the most.
Honestly, I think the people who are fooled are not a lot of people. I think it's just the people who are fooled are very loud. Anybody can be loud about stuff, and people focus on the loud and the rude. Anyway,
let me rephrase. You're right. Not everybody is fooled, but there are people that it's called bandwagon syndrome. Mm-hmm. They want to be part of the bandwagon. So those people that are fooled, they are the loudest. Like me being loud right now. You need to be part of my bandwagon. So jump on now. Everybody got to believe what I believe.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not a follower. I don't follow people.
You need to follow me. You need to follow me.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you the reason why.
Drink the Kool-Aid. Drink the Kool-Aid.
You can't trust people as far as thinking that everybody is a good person. Not everybody's a good person.
But look at this. Look at this. This is the last. It took me painstakingly. When I did the research, I had the whole website fully, completely as it is. And the only way, here, bring it back up. You just made it disappear. I had this whole website completely, fully open to me. But the thing is that this website now is no longer functioning. And for me to get it back, I had to go through the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, you can see you're on the Wayback Machine.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Nobody could access this website unless you were really looking for it. And if you were looking for it, it's because you were going to hire these people. So nobody really even knew they even existed. That's the thing. Nobody knew they existed. The only reason why I even found them is because my teacher, my professor from college, had me do an assignment. And this led me down a rabbit hole to them. And why did Google make us dumber? Led me to this. And I was like, what the hell is this? What did I just find? And I found this, and then this is under news. And then it talks about analytical number crunches. That was the latest news, and before they closed down this holidays. And then all of a sudden, here's the full news for it. Full news for it. All of a sudden, it starts breaking down. Scotland? Why is there no information there? And then it gets down to Trump, like it was erased. You see that?
That looks like, well, they look like they were video, but then again, maybe not. But it does look like that.
No, there were words there. I remember there were words underneath that. And there was a picture, and then there was a bunch of words. It talked about Trump paying $1 million for the campaign, and it's not there anymore. Also, Ted Cruz was in here too, paying for the data, and it's not in here either. It's like it disappeared. So Ted Cruz was underneath this right here, and I don't see his name is in there either. So Ted Cruz was the first one, and then Trump was the second, and they both won because of Cambridge Analytica. They didn't win on their own 2 feet. They won because of this algorithm, and then you could see how far back they go, and then
so
it kind of dies out.
what was their argument? Was it about understanding their audience, basically trying to understand? Because I mean, analytics come up everywhere, don't they now?
Yeah, inside Donald Trump's data analytics team on election night.
So data's the new gold, isn't it? So, you know, people pay big for the data. So they wanted to know how people were thinking so they could sway their thinking.
No, but data, see, Analytica, Cambridge Analytica didn't give you data. They actually swayed people.
Yeah,
that's what is said in there. They actually sway people to think a certain way, which is even clandestine. That's why the United States government and Britain closed them down. Not because they stole the people's information, but that they swayed people. It's like
87 million Facebook users. Apparently, they had 87 million Facebook users.
Yeah, but I think it was way more than that. Way more than that. It was not only Facebook users; it was a lot of social media.
They got users. 5 billion in fines against Facebook.
Yeah, they shut them down, and even in Britain too. But I'm telling you right now, it is the most horrific, and people don't take it serious. Nobody takes it serious enough.
Well, I mean, is it because of that? Go
ahead. No, well, this is the perfect example of AI going wrong. This is the perfect example.
Well, that's not AI using it. That's people using it for nefarious means. It's the people who have not got the moral in, you know, whatever in the first place to not do the work that's being asked of them. But
I had the same argument with the Patriot Act after 9/11. Why would you put a law that would take away our God-given our rights, our amendment rights, our not amendment rights, but our constitutional rights?
Yeah.
You know, they put a Patriot Act where if a president decides to put a military out into public to start arresting people willy-nilly, let's start arresting people, you know, because they feel like people are terrorists running around in the United States. And guess what's happening right now?
Exactly.
Guess what's happening right now? They're arresting minorities all over the place just because the color of their skin. Oh yeah, you look like you belong to Mexico or you don't belong here. Dude, I'm an American. I'm born here. Why are you arresting me? I don't care. I will get extra pay for arresting you and sending you. I'll get a bonus. That's crazy. That's absolute insanity.
The more nefarious stuff is with the analytics like that, and then data harvesting and medical data harvesting, and then being able to target your DNA.
You could take that off now.
So DNA targeting, I think, is more nefarious than a bloke in the street going, "I'm going to arrest you because I don't like the look of you." I think DNA targeting is a lot more nefarious, and it could be a lot more dangerous, to be fair. And we know that is something that is being looked at from military, side of things. So there's, I mean, I don't know where you get like.
And I asked Google, how advanced is AI now? And it says is so advanced. It's beyond anything that you could it's so much more advanced than 5 years ago.
Is it who is it that's running quantum computing for AI?
Well, quantum computing is mathematics and figuring out algorithms to...
I think the Chinese have open sourced one of their quantum computers so that people can use it.
I was told quantum computing is separate from AI computing because quantum computing does mathematical calculations, like figuring out the distance between a planet to here and figuring out to travel here and there and then giving you new mathematics to do this and that, because human beings don't have the time and like live and die time to figure out this new mathematics. So they use quantum computers to speed up the process. But AI computing is a different type of programming. completely separate from quantum computing. And
But
that
doesn't AI just need something to run on? I.e., if you plug an AI system into a quantum computer, which is running on quantum mechanical process,
I heard about them connecting
then,
both of them together. Yeah.
yeah. So then, what that would just mean is that AI can run.
You know they disconnected that.
No, I'm saying I think as far as I'm aware that China open sourced one of their quantum computers to people. So if you want to run your AI system on the quantum computer, you can now do it. Like, well, I mean, any software. If you're a developer with any kind of software, I'm sure China have open sourced one of their quantum computers.
True.
How much that's going to cost, I don't know.
A lot.
Look
at
astronomical.
Yeah, look at
so
how
much. I don't think there's a
costing
money. I don't even think there's a price to that. That's insane.
Yeah,
it says right here, as of early 2026, artificial intelligence has moved beyond experimental chatbots to become a highly capable, autonomous, and deeply embedded technology in everyday life and industry. Modern systems are transitioning from passive assistance agents that can execute multi-step tasks independently, often matching or exceeding human performance specific technical tasks. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it was March. They've only just done it. So in March, China's Origin Quantum released Origin Pilot, and that is touted as the world's first open source operating system for quantum computers. So that just means that the average Joe like me and you can now have access to a quantum computer if we could afford it. So all of those questions that you've got about time travel can be answered now by using.
Or you could go back to school, and do it for free.
Then the argument there is, isn't it, that actually, little kids in China are using AI as lesson, for teaching aids, and the one of the things now is with unis is why pay and end up with 50 grand's worth of debt when you can learn PhD level from an AI. So just by doing the research, asking for citations, going back and looking at why do you need to go to a university anymore? Because you can do it all with AI. So that's another thing. Where's education going to go? Where's education going in a couple of 5 years time?
But that was easily achievable even without AI. I mean, let's be honest. You could go to a library right now and learn chemistry and how to build.
What's a library? What's a library again?
Yeah, that's what I'm remember. Even
who goes to a library anymore? I went by the building the other day, and I was thinking I should go visit the library.
That's interesting.
I didn't even go back. My library card expired. I was thinking I need to go back and renew my library card before it expired. Never did. Never stepped in.
What year were you both born? Are you roughly about the same age?
I was born in 83.
83. What about you?
I'm a 1973 baby.
You're 73. Oh, so you're a year younger than me. Okay. So that's interesting because you're proper into your computer gaming and everything, just technically. But you're more old school.
My father owned a VCR repair shop, and a VCR was the earliest computers.
So So did you have VHS?
But my father repair shop was, get this, a shack in the back of the house.
Okay.
And in the shack in the back of the house wasn't like some old rusty shack. He painted it inside, made it completely sealed with air conditioning and everything. So when you walked in, it was completely clean, where the VCR heads would never get dirty. So when he opened it up, no dust, no nothing would get on it. And he would teach me everything that I had to. And then back then, there was no computer repair courses in any school. So my father ordered it online, and they would send these binders. And and he told me, go learn them. So I learned how to do all computer repairs through binders.
You see that thing that says input there?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's back in, I think that was 70s, earlier 80s, I think that was. And that was how I learned about computers,
those
coding
are
and
relics.
yeah. But that's exactly what they are, input. And that was they
Ancient
came with
relics.
magazines, and you bought the magazine and put it all together, and it was an entire course of how
Do
to
you
make
not know what those are, Rebirth? Those are
Yeah.
ancient astronaut relics.
The oldest book I got is an 1873 Bible. And that's from that time frame.
I've got some old 1800s books which I got actually from.
Imagine in 3,000 years if some human found those books, they'd be like, "Wow, ancient astronauts had those books on Earth." This is how they learn how to code
But
on
I
these
mean,
physical computers.
I like books. I like having a page and the smell of old books and the feel of them. And, you know, there's just something about a book. Do you know what I mean?
Dr. Dids, do you think that humans will evolve, like change shape, like physically? Are they going to evolve into something else to survive in the future? Like in the next 2,000 years?
I don't know, but when you look at bone structure from skeletons over, you know, the period that we have bone skeletons of, you know, bipedal pods or whatever we are, they have changed slightly, haven't they? Shape, size.
We do have a tail. We do have a tailbone.
Oh, well, certain people still are born with tailbones, aren't they? There's a lady.
They stick out instead of sticking in, right?
Yeah, there's a lady that does an ancient history channel, and she's absolutely beautiful. She's beautiful. She's quite young, and she had to have an operation to
Why?
a big on her tailbone because the tailbone stuck out. So she had that. I think she had it like planed or something to make it because it was uncomfortable for her.
Why? Oh, it was uncomfortable. I thought it would be funky, you know, just be a little.
Yeah. So I don't know because that goes.
I thought it would be kinky or something, you know, to have a little tail sticking out, you know. What kind of love life would you have with a tail sticking out?
I mean, it's an interesting question, isn't it? Like you're thinking like the tridactyls that you're looking into, how the structure of because they're actual skeleton, aren't they?
There's actually people on our show in Tridactyls that actually have 3 fingers, human beings, and they're interested in our shows because they have family ties. They have actually genetic family ties. They believe that they are hybrid humans from Tridactyls.
Okay. That's really interesting.
That's wild, right?
I found it really, really interesting because I mean, like there's DNA testing and there's blood testing and there's bone marrow and all of that stuff now that we can do and look into as well. So I don't know. I mean, it's like different.
You need a base. You need a base. You need a patient 0, and Tridactyls are the base. Patient 0, and they need that DNA from them. So then they could trace that DNA all the way to them and see if how much of their DNA is incomparable to theirs.
Yeah.
And then the truth will come out.
Yeah.
But if those things are really llamas, then they're not going to be llamas, you know? So, I mean, unless they're hybrid llamas, you know?
How old are they?
Oh my gosh. They range from 1,500 to 3,000 years old.
So they're not really, in the great scheme of things, they're not that old. I go to a minster that's 1,000 years.
Well, here's the thing. They're old in the ground, but in the region that they're in, because it's desert, the bodies they're mummified.
I was going to say because they've got to be some because bones usually disintegrate after 300 odd years if they're left exposed.
So how old were the ones previously to that? That's my question.
Yeah.
No, but but we need to question ourselves too, because I've been questioning our evolution as well, because we're finding all these monkey bones all over the place, right? All these ape bones, and we're claiming them as our evolution from them. But
When it's
what
not.
if what if they're just unique beings that just became extinct and we just became humans? Like
I
we're just
find it,
humans from none of them.
yeah, but I find it interesting that apes are still around and apes haven't changed because they're still around. So how did we come from apes if apes are still here? Do you know what you would think that you would form into something else?
All of them should have been human, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
doesn't this go to, where humans are actually walking around the globe?
Their
When
argument is that a
as well,
specific, yeah, their argument is that a specific type of ape became human, and then those apes did not. They're always an excuse. There's always an excuse to battle whatever thought that you have. They will always be right, will always be wrong, and that evolution is real, and that is going to be in every textbook around the world until somebody can prove them wrong. And then tridactyls is an actual blatant. It defies all all of that.
because is it of yeah, I
It's
see
a
that.
danger. It's a danger to every textbook around the world.
There
That's
are
why
structures from South Africa that are supposed to be intelligently made, which are dating back to over 300,000 years. I don't know. I mean, this is what the magic and mystery of this stuff is, isn't it? It's the fact that we don't know. So let's look into it. Let's talk about it. Let's discover new things. Where did they come from? Why are they here? Why are they here for us to look at, to do MRI scans or whatever it is that they've done, and discover that actually there is something here, but we're not quite sure what it is. So let's look into it further. I mean, I just find it fascinating that there's still a bone structure, because that obviously within itself is some kind of miracle to have bones that are supposedly dated that far back. I mean, we've found giant bones in this, or giant, we've found things that we're not supposed to have existed anyway on this planet. So let's just find more stuff and dig into more stuff. I don't know the answer to that question.
I think that the U.S. government and other governments around the world need to come out with this whole extraterrestrial disclosure thing right out the bat. I mean, I'm getting tired of the whole cloak and dagger thing. They keep doing the whole cloak and dagger thing, and they just need to just come out with it. It's so funny too, because this is what they do. We're gonna come out with the disclosure. I'm like, well, if they were fake in the first place, you wouldn't have to say that in the first place. You would just have to say that they're not real. But why are you saying you're going to come out with something if they're not real?
Well, Stephen Greer's built a whole career out of disclosure, but he's not disclosed anything. As far as I'm concerned, it's like he's not really disclosed anything.
It feels like he's gatekeeping his information, right?
I think, I think a lot of people are doing that. And I think it's getting to the point where that's why I say that you either can go headstrong with the information and attack it by all corners, and you can be nice about it, or you can be headstrong, attack it all corners, and really tell people, look, that's it. Because I mean, how
spend
angry
$3,000. That's all I got to say to people. Don't spend those $3,000.
But we're at 2 hours now. Most people got the attention span for 2 hours.
Just coming in right now. MV Beans, we see you. And just make sure this is not a pre-recording. I'm naming out names. There's Anna out there. Thank you so much for joining us.
I think we should start have another discussion next week about this, because this is actually we actually covered a lot, and I think in reality.
Supposed to cover though what the name of the show is: History, AI, and Naysayers.
Yeah, we talked about all that, and MVP he's been in here listening. We've been talking back and forth in the chat.
That's how these shows go.
I think in reality, there's a lot to say about this AI and all this other stuff. I think a lot of people when it comes to this stuff, it's all about a feel-good method. What makes them feel good. So a lot of
I want to mention one thing. That Arc Raiders game that we were talking about, I forgot to mention. I looked it up. The creators, the devs, are from Sweden, and the NPCs, the creatures that roam around the land, killing off all the players because there's like these big, massive spiders that roam around. They're actually controlled by AI, so they learn.
Yeah, a lot of games are doing that. Yeah,
they learn. And there's people that they think they could outsmart the AI. So they jump into a well and they hide in the well. And then the AI figures out a way to jump down the well too. It doesn't just stay up there going, no, it jumps down there, it closes up its arms and then jumps down the well, and they're like, oh my God. And you hear them in the stream screaming like, how the hell did he jump down here? This never happens. Oh my gosh, get the hell out of here. And this thing is exploding, and it's just an insanity. It's hilarious.
Is it in like an AR one as well, where you're actually in there? Because I've seen this AR game, which is like a horror game. So it's almost like,
oh my gosh, I hate those so much. I hate horrors. I'm scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, no, exactly. People are like putting these AR things on in their house and being scared shitless by these horror movie things that just crawl out of spaces that they're not in their own houses. Like, there are going to be so many people just having nightmares.
Can you imagine AI with horror movie? No, I mean, people are going to be mental. That is mental. Yeah, the future is going to be insane. I mean, our kids could probably handle it. I don't know about us, but our kids are going to love it.
We're living the future from 10 years ago. We're actually now living the future, aren't we? So,
yeah,
you know.
My dog wants to say hi. Hey, you baby. Yes, you are.
He looks like a staffy. Is he a staffy?
Yeah. Lay down. Lay down.
Well, I'm about to close out the stream. Anything last things y'all want to say?
Yeah, well, thank you very much for asking me. If you want the structure of films, then I'll just write it down. I'll send it in a WhatsApp thing. Because if you're gonna like do some nice little videos, there's a little bit of a structure that you can follow, which might help.
All right.
Definitely. I definitely want to read some of your books too. If you guys go ahead and go check out Dr. Did's TV, she has books that she has written. Also, Rebirth of the Word also has written some books.
Yeah, sorry, they are children's books. They're just
who cares? Read some children's books. I mean, people have been on Google. Their brain has regressed so much that they're down to children's books now. So.
Been a pleasure.
Well, buy them for your kids, okay?
Yeah.
Buy them for your grandkids.
Buy the books. They'll be brilliant. There's going to be a whole extra 4 being added. There's 11 in the series.
Take care, MVP Beans, man. Thank you so much for joining the stream, man. Appreciate that. Really do.
All right, y'all. Well, till next time, y'all know I always
thank you, everybody, for joining us through Rebirth of the Word and Dr. Did's TV with Fat Jesus Live.
Take it easy.
Got a little hype now, can I let it die down? I remember days in the trench. Time to go hard in, time to go all in, time to get my all to this shit. Panamera maxed out, first class flights out Atlantic to Pacific, yeah, it's lit.